welcome to Beyond Vertical Thrills. Today, we'll be discussing what's taking Cliffhanger at Lagoon's place, because I think I know what it is. Let's get into it. Cliffhanger was a mondial topspin ride located at Lagoon Park in Farmington, Utah. Let's be honest, if you care enough to watch this video, Lagoon is probably your home park, so we don't need to dive deep into the history of this ride. Anyway, the ride was closed most of the time, and most people, including me, didn't like it. I rode it once, and it just wasn't fun. Didn't really do the spinning thing that most of those rides do, so it just kind of held you upside down and sprayed water on your head the first time around, and it wouldn't even flip the other times. And because of that, the ride gained a really bad reputation, so even when it was open, no one would ride it. The queue was always empty. This is probably the reason that Lagoon finally decided to pull the plug and remove this ride. And now, Lagoon is doing one of the things that it does best, and is not telling us a single thing about what its replacement will be. So I'm taking it into my own hands to do my best to figure out what's going to go there, and I think I've came up with a few good options. I also made a short asking you guys what you thought would go there, and y'all shared some really good ideas, so I'll read those off too. We'll go from the most likely option to basically my fantasy for what could go there, but definitely won't. For our first possibility, we have an S&S Scream and Swing. I heard this from a ride attendant at the park who happened to be at the park that day to ride rides and not work. So, as much as I've heard that Lagoon doesn't have the best relationship with S&S, they did manage to get new vehicles for the rocket towers, so I wouldn't say it's completely out of the question that Lagoon would be willing to work with S&S again for an entirely new ride. If you're wondering why I didn't start with a family ride, because obviously that would be easiest for the park to build, that's because Lagoon just opened Primordial, an interactive family coaster / shooting dark ride hybrid, and the District, a small area in Pioneer Village with 3 flat rides. So I don't think they'll be going for another family ride. This won't be the last time the District is mentioned in this video. At a slightly higher cost and a bigger footprint, and therefore a slightly lower chance of happening, we have the Zamperla Giga Discovery. This was mentioned in a comment by the Shower Singer on the aforementioned short, and this is honestly a ride that I would be extremely happy to have at my home park. I have ridden Crazanity at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and it's a blast. So much floater airtime, and so many foot shoppers. One thing that I don't know, though, is if there's enough space for it. Even though they're also removing teriyaki sticks, rest in peace my beloved, along with Cliffhanger, there might not be enough space. So I don't know how accurate it is, but I just used the measuring app on my phone to measure out the plot of land that both teriyaki sticks and Cliffhanger took up. And as it turns out, there is enough room for a Zamperla Giga Discovery. So as much as I think it's probably going to be an S&S Scream and Swing, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that it could be a Giga Discovery. One thing that does help the possibility of a Zamperla Giga Discovery is the fact that Lagoon worked with Zamperla to build Time Tinker, which I've never seen broken down and always has its queue full. So maybe they'll want to work with Zamperla again, but maybe that's just wishful thinking. Next, we have a really cool idea from Brewster. Pause if you want to read the whole thing. He suggested extending this plot of land that the future ride will be on to the paths between Colossus and Spider, which would create a prime plot of land for a compact roller coaster. This comment specifically mentioned something like Hang Time at Knott's, which is a Gerstlauter infinity coaster. As much as this would be cool, Lagoon already has Cannibal, basically an infinity coaster on steroids, and Wicked, basically a launched infinity coaster, although calling it that might be a stretch. But I think that it is possible, though unlikely, that Lagoon adds a different type of compact thrill coaster. What it could be, I have no idea, but if it could fit, I think one of those smaller RMC Raptors would do wonders for this park's lineup. And now for something that absolutely will not happen, but I like to dream about. Imagine if this plot of land were the station to a new massive roller coaster, one that spans almost the whole length of the park with multiple strong LSM launches, crosses over midways, has extremely strong airtime, whip, and inversions, and a super long ride time, and possibly breaks 200 feet in height. This would be incredible, but there are so many reasons why this will not happen. First, Lagoon has all the height, speed, and inversions they need on a ride with Cannibal. Second, this would be a huge investment, coming right off the heels of Primordial, one of the most expensive coasters in the world, according to an enthusiast I met at Lagoon last year. Third, coasters need supports, supports need footers, footers need space, and I don't think Lagoon wants to clutter up their midways with a bunch of huge concrete footers. But we can always dream. That'll be it for today. Let me know what you think will replace Cliffhanger in the comments if you have any different ideas. Make sure to like and sub for more content like this, and I will see you in the next one.